On the 2nd of December 2010, Qatar was awarded the right to host the 2022 FIFA World Cup finals by 22 members of the FIFA Executive Committee, including its notorious president, Sepp Blatter, beating the likes of USA and Japan in the bidding process. The tournament has become a melting pot of allegations and a catalyst for huge change within FIFA itself. But what was so controversial about the vote? Where have accusations of corruption arisen from? And who are the real winners and losers of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar? Here's how it happened. The trouble begins in October 2010, 2 months before the vote took place, when 2 members of the FIFA Executive Committee were banned for requesting payment in exchange for their vote. British newspaper The Sunday Times revealed that they had undercover footage of Amos Amadou of Nigeria requesting $800,000 to be paid directly to him for the construction of 4 artificial pitches in his home nation, as well as footage of Reynald Tamari of Tahiti asking for $2.3 million to finance the construction of a football academy in New Zealand. The pair were temporarily suspended and unable to take part in the vote in December, before both were eventually banned from all football activity for 3 years and 1 year respectively, and fined just $15,000 between them. Not a great start for the FIFA committee. As the day of the vote grew closer, in November, FIFA's own technical report described Qatar as a high operational risk as a host, the only candidate country to receive such an evaluation. In the build-up to the voting procedure, Qatar's bid also drew criticism from the media for its inhospitable climate, poor human rights record, and the illegal status of homosexuality, which is punishable by death. The day of the vote arrived, and the Executive Committee, now with 22 members instead of 24, took 4 rounds to decide upon the host, eliminating the country with the fewest votes until a majority was formed. It's probably worth noting here that Qatar received fewer votes in the second round than the first, suggesting the presence of tactical voting. Immediately following the award of hosting rights, FIFA faced a backlash as Qatar defeated what were generally considered stronger bids from other countries. Lord David Treisman, former chairman of the Football Association, alleged in May 2011 that 4 members of FIFA's committee had sought bribes from the FA in return for a vote in favour of England hosting the 2018 World Cup. These included Jack Warner of Trinidad demanding $4 million to build a school, and Paraguay's Nicolas Leos asking for a knighthood. That same month, a whistleblower who had been part of the Qatar 2022 campaign team claimed that Cameroonian Issa Hayatou and Ivorian Jacques Anouma, again both FIFA executives, had each received $1.5 million on the promise that Qatar had their votes. Meanwhile, president of the Asian Football Confederation and a key figure in Qatar's bid, Mohammed bin Hammam, was set to run to be the next president of FIFA, but withdrew from the race following allegations that he had bribed 25 officials in order to receive their votes, and was later banned from football for life. The following year, in August 2012, Michael Garcia, a former New York attorney and judge, was appointed chairman of the FIFA Ethics Committee to investigate the allegations of corruption. After 2 years, the American had completed his findings, dubbing the paper the Garcia Report, and delivered the 350-page document to FIFA. FIFA chose not to release Garcia's findings, instead publishing an edited summary of Mr. Garcia's report, which offered no sign of any wrongdoing by any FIFA officials, leading him to resign in protest. The wheels truly began to come off for FIFA in its 2015 corruption scandal, in which 11 of its top officials were found guilty of corruption and money laundering by the FBI. Although the allegations were not directly linked to the staging of the World Cup, several of the reprimanded members were part of the committee that gave the World Cup to Qatar, and were found to have a suspiciously close relationship with the country's government. Some of the other convictions included the transfer of $10 million directly from the head of South African Football Association to a FIFA executive, the same year that his nation hosted the World Cup in 2010, while other committee members received bribes worth millions of dollars from the Brazilian Football Confederation in relation to the country's home World Cup 4 years later. The corruption case resulted in Blatter resigning in June of that year, later receiving a ban of 6 years after being found guilty of criminal mismanagement himself. In 2017, the full Garcia report was eventually published by German tabloid Bild, and revealed some of the underhand behaviours of FIFA's top officials, including $2 million being transferred directly into the account of a FIFA executive's 10-year-old daughter, and luxuries such as private jets paid for by national federations competing to host the World Cup. In addition, the minutes of FIFA meetings revealed that the extreme heat experienced during June and July in Qatar was not mentioned at any point by the Executive Committee when discussing potential hosts. In 2019, another investigation by the Sunday Times found that Qatar's state-run broadcasting network, Al Jazeera, had offered FIFA $400 million to secure the TV rights to the tournament, including an additional $100 million if Qatar were to win the bid. Criticism of Qatar's bid did not stop at corruption and bribery. Amnesty International have deplored the choice to stage the World Cup in Qatar. Amnesty claimed that construction workers earn less than $200 per month and are forced to live in squalid conditions, apparently being threatened on a regular basis and having their passports confiscated so they are unable to leave. On the subject of stadia construction, Qatar's bid outlines 8 stadiums to be used throughout the tournament, one of which is pre-existing and fully equipped, 2 need expansion, and 5 require full construction. Also, with the summer temperatures of Qatar reaching up to 50 degrees Celsius, the tournament needed to be moved from the normal June-July schedule. And with the Beijing Winter Olympics already set to take place in February, and the Islamic month of Ramadan falling in April of that year, it was decided that the tournament would take place in November and December, creating chaos in most Northern Hemisphere leagues, as it interrupts the middle of their winter calendar. All this still leaves question marks over the future of the tournament, and whether the media's concerns are valid remains to be seen. Who knows whether we will ever discover the extent of FIFA's deep-rooted corruption. And that's how it happened. Like and subscribe to see more videos, and comment below with what you'd like to see next, and we'll show you how it happened. Thanks for watching.